Hello, welcome to our workshop. We're happy that you decided to join us. Today we will talk about children's health, not just the absence of illness. My name is Lily Burrows, and I study applied health at BYU, Idaho. So let's get started. When you think about your childhood, your parents' childhood, and your grandparents' childhood, what did it make it wonderful? I know for myself, the toys that I had were few, and the friends that I had were many. I know my parents had fewer toys than I did, and my grandparents even fewer. Maybe there's a common pattern there for the children, our children that we're raising today, where they have probably an excess of things, but less things actually to do. In this workshop, we will discuss four main topics: nutrition, mindfulness and emotional health, cooped at home, going outside, and then we'll have an evaluation. We hope that with the tools and resources that we give you, you can have a better grasp of your children's well-being, and you will be able to help them along. On nutrition basics, I just wanted to give an overview of what nutrition really is. What is good food? What is junk food? What are we feeding our children? The old adage, you are what you eat, is still very important today. Let's go over good food. Whole grains, rice, oats, barley, and wheat. Starches, potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, and rice. Legumes, black beans, green peas, chickpeas, soybeans, and lentils. Vegetables, broccoli, beets, carrots, spinach, kale, peppers, asparagus. Fruit, banana, apples, oranges, peaches, strawberry, watermelon. And in some of our markets, you can find other tropical fruits that you don't find anywhere else. No more junk food, fast food, party food, overly processed food, sweet drinks, white flour, which is devoid of fiber, fatty and greasy foods. And think, how many times a week do we choose foods that are on the left of this list and foods that are on the right of this list, and how that affects our children's behavior, their mood, and even their weight. Notice I left out here on the list any type of meat, milk, eggs, and other animal products because they should be eaten sparingly. Here's some pictures of a well-balanced meal to the left, some rainbow fruit on the bottom left, and then some of our favorite snacks and drinks to the top right, and donuts of all colors on the bottom left, on the bottom right, excuse me. And how many times a week do we choose each one? How many times a week do we feed our children either of these things? Hopefully we are doing more things like the one pictures from the left. It might be difficult and it might be time-consuming to chop off some fruit, to wash them up real good. And it probably will be very easy just to go and buy a donut. But, you know, what we tried to get here, what is healthier? And we are choosing to be either healthy or ill. Now, talking again about my grandmother, cooking should not take long. She was there and the kitchen planted. That was her station. She would read there. She would even sing some hymns sometimes in the kitchen because she was always waiting for something to be done, or chopping something, or getting back from the market, putting stuff away. And when she was growing up, there was no electricity. She had to use a wooden stove and a mortar and pestle to grind the different things that they were doing flour with, or their beans. But I have a fridge, which I can store leftovers with. I have a electric stove, a power blender, a pressure cooker, air fryer, crock pot, a timer rice maker, and a microwave. So I literally have to put rice on the rice maker and forget about it, and an hour and a half later I have steaming ready rice. Same with the pressure cooker, which my grandmother later in her life did have, but she needed to be there, ready to turn it off or it would explode. And it had exploded at least once when I was growing up. When we're done talking about food, now let's think about mindfulness and mental health, because mental health in children is not talked a lot about. And when children are jittery and cannot sit still, they cannot go into their mindfulness state. It is important for them to also go into understand themselves, how they feel and all those emotions that they're feeling, how they can compartmentalize them and also understand them. I'm no expert in these fields, but I have some studies. At the end of the workshop, I can cite them for you and give you some resources that you can go and find them. But the SEL at schools also are teaching the children to deal with all the emotions and to understand themselves, why they are going through what they're going through, and that it is okay, and that they can internalize themselves and they can actually succeed. Now, remember COVID, when we were cooped at home for those first few weeks, and we were not even allowed to meet and mingle with our neighbors if they're not of the same family. What did you do? Well, we played a lot of board games. We did a lot of using our own toys that we have. We have a bunch of books that we read and reread. We built some blocks also. We did not do this, but I wish I had known about it. This is an obstacle course with yarn, and those children seem to be having a great time with that. We did play dress up, and my girls have a few dress ups that they've been given throughout the years that they like to dress with. And we do have a little bit of a gym set up downstairs, and so we did some exercises also indoors. And I think that is important when we're at home, just to be thankful for the things that we do have at home and use them. Now, here in Utah, going outside is fun in every season. I come from Guatemala, where there's always spring and it's always green, and there's always 12 hours of sunlight. And so you do your activities year around, outside, inside, or wherever. But when I came to Utah and live here, I noticed the beauty of the changing of the seasons. And there's always something to do for every season. From going outside in the beautiful spring weather, the hot summer sun, of course, underneath the shade, the cold winter with the snow, and the beautiful autumn leaves in autumn. And then we would have some time for questions and answers, and especially how our children are being taught how to do their everyday lives, how much time they are spending sitting down at school, and how much time are we allowing them for daily exercise and activity. But always look at the big picture. Choose one thing you can improve on and tackle it. Ask for cooperation from your family. Keep track of progress so that you can see that you are making progress, even if it's a little bit, and don't give up on your goals. But most of all, limit screen time. Thank you so much for coming.